Testing, testing, and we are alive. Okay, we're alive. And yesterday we had a bit of a distraction, but today we're gonna get straight to the point. We're gonna get straight to the point because there's a lot of work to do, and every time I uncover a piece of the puzzle, it's as if the puzzle gets larger and more complicated. You know, and the more complicated the puzzle gets means I'm looking down the wrong wrong scope. But not always. But I think this is a useful scope to have in mind and to consider and to strategize according to. What I'm finding is that after a little bit of research, that and just thinking about it a little bit, I guess platforms are just different, right? Platforms are different. You'll get a different audience depending on what kind of platform you're on. Like TikTok, you can expect younger Gen Alpha, more Gen Z, that kind of audience. Facebook, more millennial and perhaps older Gen Y. Instagram, you'll get like Gen Z and millennial, and obviously there's, overlaps. It's not always so um, perfectly dispersed. Um, but I'm finding that I'm on YouTube, right? I'm doing this stuff on YouTube, and YouTube is very different with Instagram, Facebook, same company, but different platforms. Instagram to Facebook, there's obviously similarities, but difference in mostly um, customer base, user base, let's call it. Um, and same with TikTok, really. But with TikTok, it's like it's an entirely new thing that has its own kind of economy to it. You know, I guess it kind of just differs. And there's a naked guy in the building. All right, I guess it mostly just differs on. It mostly just differs on the levels of brain rot, right? Like with Instagram, you'll get more like dank, a little more on the edgy side. With TikTok, you'll get more kind of cringy stuff, you know. Um, Facebook, you'll get a similar type of cringe, but more for an older user base. And obviously, there is overlap, but what you'll find is that the people that do the best because the majority of the user base is of a certain demographic, and you can make it from a different demographic, but like the biggest users on TikTok are like, usually teenage girls, um, or just comedians with repeatable content. The ones on Instagram are usually like, I feel like it's more like just like motivational stuff. And on YouTube is a bit of a mix, but it's very different from all the other platforms, so it behaves differently. YouTube's a lot more informative. There's a greater separation between the creator and the audience than there is with any other platform, right? With Instagram, you can look at Mike Tyson's post and you can comment under it and everything, but you can also just DM Mike Tyson, right? Same with TikTok. You can have like a creator on it, and you can comment on their video. You can do all sorts of stuff with their content, but it's just different because you can DM, you can TikTok DM um, anyone, your favorite creator. Same with Facebook. There's like a messaging service, right? It's like DMing. You can message anyone, and of course, there's stuff you can do like privacy stuff that you can do to change that and make it more personalized. But with YouTube, there's nothing like that. With YouTube, there's nothing like that. You can DM people on all the other apps, but you cannot DM on YouTube. You can leave a comment, but that's it. It stops at your commentary on whatever the content is. So YouTube, despite being probably is it the biggest? I should have done this research. Which platform is the biggest in reach? Well, YouTube is Google, right? Right, so Facebook is number one in terms of active users, but Facebook isn't known for its content. It's not very like obviously you can use it for content, but YouTube is second, Instagram is third, and WhatsApp is fourth. Like who goes to Facebook? Like Facebook, people share content, um, people share news, people share things, but YouTube is like without the ability to share, it's number two. YouTube is where people go for information. It's where they go for pure content. Like you can share, but it's not the same because like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp is fourth. I just noticed that. But anyways, with with a lot of other social medias, what you'll get is the ability to share, and that does a lot to its virality, right? That has a big effect on its virality, but then that sharing is worth a lot less because it's so easy to do, right? It's like, you click the share button, and you click who, and then you click send. It's like one, two, three. With YouTube, it's like copy paste. If you're doing it on the browser, it's pretty much the same for all the apps, but like you can't do it in apps, so you have to copy the link, send it into a different chat, send it, right? YouTube relies on things like WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook to send links, which is vastly different. So, and I think that's important because YouTube relies on other social medias to be shared. So if a company can if YouTube can make you open up another app to share content from them, that means a lot more than just going into Instagram, clicking 3 times to share a reel, right? That sharing is more valuable. Like with YouTube, if you're on your phone, you have to click a button of share, and then you have to pick an app where you can just copy it and go into the app yourself. And it's like click the app, and then you have to click the person you want to do it, and then it's like this, and it's like 4 or 5 or 6 depending on how you go about it, or at least that's what I think. Right? Wait, if I'm sending it on WhatsApp, I'd have to do I'd have to click the share button, and then it opens up the apps. I click on WhatsApp. I want to send it to someone. Their name will pop up. I'll have to click their name. So we're already at 3. Once I've clicked their name, I have to click enter, like choosing that person, because I can choose multiple. I think. And then once I've done that, so we're already at 3, maybe 4. And then once it'll go into the chat and it'll have the link set up, and then I can either cancel it from there or I can send it. And it's like now we're at like 5, right? And that fall off per click makes it very annoying. And then when you like, if you open up Instagram, someone sent you something, you just watch it. If you open up like WhatsApp or Instagram and someone sent you a YouTube link, you have to click on that link, and then it'll take you out of the app, right? So it's just like hassle on the brain, like hassle on the processor, takes more time, because it has to open up other apps. So that share on YouTube is worth a lot more, in my opinion, than it is on Instagram. Sharing from one app to another is far different from sharing, in app for like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, because there is already a messaging service there. And that changes the kind of content that you find on YouTube. The content you find on YouTube is far more valuable. And the content that gets shared from YouTube is far more valuable. If there's I've noticed this in myself without even trying. If I'm, without even thinking about it, if I'm sharing something from YouTube, I'm less likely to share it if it's just like a silly meme or something like that. Like if it's really funny, I'll be like, okay, I gotta share this. But on Instagram, I'm more likely to just send 30 because it's just so easy. It's like send, 1, 2, 3, send, swipe up, 1, 2, 3, send, and it instantly sends because it doesn't need to load up a new app. So it's like the processing's done quite quickly as long as your Wi-Fi is good. And that's very different, right? And that affects strategies. What you have to do to be valuable on YouTube is far more than what you have to do to be valuable on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And that is interesting. And the kind of hooks you have to be more interesting. The kind of creative writing you have has to be more interesting. And you can't just do like type of content. The type of content, that's what I'm going to call it. Where it's just like, you just have like a minor reaction to it. You have to have a greater reaction for content to be valuable on YouTube. That's why you see a lot of like you'll see a lot of content on YouTube like short, like that's informative or just people talking, and it's like long form content. But shorts specifically, you'll find like the shorts that have like millions of likes or hundreds of thousands of likes. It's usually just like movie scenes or cool scenes from shows or content from like well-established content creators. Like it's very difficult for like shit posting to make it big on YouTube, which filters the quality of content that rises above in the algorithm. And that makes YouTube one of the hardest, in my opinion, um, platforms to grow on. Which and I made some notes here. Made some notes here about YouTube content differentiation between platforms. Okay. There's no ability to text your friends, and the sharing of shorts is tedious in comparison to TikTok and Instagram and even Facebook. People go to YouTube for a specific type of content, usually informative or interesting, and people go to YouTube when they want a little bit more out of their content. They want like real unique insight. They you cannot just be regular shareable. You have to be like on the high end of shareable. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to evoke comedy, but it can. Like, there's some people who make it really big on YouTube based on sketch comedy. That's pretty big, and that'll make it big on the other platforms as well. But sketch comedy and like movie clips and like sports edits and things like that make it big on all platforms, right? So that's something that's very interesting, because that bypasses a lot of the different limitations that you have on YouTube. So that kind of content will work on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, but it'll work as well on YouTube, which is interesting, right? Like, it holds up on YouTube. Like you get like movie edits and like stuff like that. That's just like, and like the parts, like people do like scenes from movies and they'll do them in parts. That works really well. And yeah, so it's either like something established will really work on YouTube, right? And you can build an audience, and establish yourself on YouTube, and that can work. But most shorts are famous because of established creators, as that's the best way to reach an audience, as opposed to Instagram and TikTok, where content can be shared to be spread. This means that to thrive on YouTube, you need incredibly useful content, and that needs to be combined with shouting platforms and regular content production that makes you unavoidable in the algorithm. So, like, to grow on YouTube, you just have to be ever present, especially for like shorts. Like, you have to post, like, you have to either be like shit posting yourself like 50 times a day with like comedy stuff, like the way like that Master Oogway guy does, or you have to provide incredibly useful content, and you have to provide it at scale. You have to like constantly be in people's ears, giving them like genuine value about whatever it is you're talking about, right? That's why faceless content is, I'd argue, less effective. Skits, uh, talking, like people like when people talk to the camera on YouTube. I think, like, when you see a face, it's like, I've never seen a faceless, like, I haven't seen too many. I'll say this: faceless YouTube um, shorts channels. Like, you'll see them if they have like they make like regular videos and already have a following. Like, it spreads over. But if it's just like faceless YouTube content, it's not impossible, doable, but it's much harder because of the lack of shareability. Because it's just not very controversial. When someone hides their face, it's kind of, for people, it's interesting, more interesting to have what do you call it? A person talking to you on YouTube, I think. And that it works on less shareable platforms, but not YouTube as much. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that because I realized I'm gonna have to change up my strategy, and I realized that after yesterday. I tried a faceless video. I tried like a simple meme. I tried like a skit. Did it the best, but I think it was just not that great of a skit from the videos I posted yesterday. And yeah, if I look at the views from yesterday, not good. Not happy about that, but it does tell me something I can learn. Like, the Justin Timberlake leaked call fake AI thing got 8 views, which is like ridiculous. Whenever it's me talking to the camera, I generally have better luck with the views. And that's something you have to keep track of, because like I'm keeping a track of all the different types of content I make. And the last one, the faceless video I made, is probably my favorite video I've ever made. But I think, and it got 6 views, which is hurtful because I was quite proud of that. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post it on Instagram and test it out. My Instagram is kind of dead, you know. But I realize now it's an important shouting platform, and I'm gonna have to grow it in order to utilize YouTube at its best potential. And I'm not a fan of TikTok, but it's something that I have to look into because it is useful. And obviously, I'm not a fan of Facebook, despite the user base being the largest, which is kind of ridiculous to me. But yeah, I've got a short written down. I spent longer on it. I'm like, more value. I keep getting stuck between that because I kind of want to test out different content. But now that I have this kind of idea about the different platforms, probably better if I like. There's nothing wrong with the other content I make. I think it's just not for YouTube, which is important. Which is important. But that's what I learned about the different platforms. And yeah, just a little update about the platforms. I'm gonna keep this short because I've got a lot of work to do. But yeah, and I gotta go record this new short before I lose sunlight. So probably gonna do that. Pack up here. I think I've got like an hour of sunlight, so I gotta get hustling. All right, this has been me, short and sweet. Good talk. Be good. Do good things. YouTube is built different. Subscribe and good things happen. And I'll see you tomorrow.